Hello and welcome to the Right Click Save podcast. I'm, as always, your host, Calcio. Joining me today is Jimmy T. How are you doing, Big Jim?
Yeah, very good, very happy. Good to have us all back in the studio together and recording another episode.
Good. We do like good episodes. Today's guest is a little bit different. It's not an NFT native, but that's nice. We get a bit of a different vibe from it. And again, we're joined today by Tom Fairey, who's founder and CEO of Stakester, a platform that was designed originally to give gamers the opportunity to play for real money and prizes, and they're now venturing into the NFT space. How are you doing today, Tom?
I'm good. I'm just saying earlier, I'm a little bit gassed because I've just been playing football, and I play a little bit of 5-a-side, but when you start playing an 11-side match, I love you just rocked up with a Corona there. Anyone who can't see this, like we're mid, it's like, I know it is like 9:15 on a Wednesday, but he's just like straight in on the Corona.
Is it alcohol free though, isn't it?
It is alcohol free.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is
right.
it?
It's just
I
there for the
love
taste.
that though.
Too many bad.
I'm here with a Barocca. But he's just
nice. Yeah, I can't get anything done with my day without a Barocca, to be fair.
I love that. I love the commitment to the Corona. I love it so much. I'll do it without.
Yeah. Well, see, it's a different story for a different day, but secretly, I quite enjoy them now. Now I've got used to it without alcohol. But
really?
Yeah, let's focus on you today, Tom. We'll go
I've just got this here. I'm just throwing the podcast out of the way. It's the problem with not having NFT natives on. Okay.
We'll go over my terrible drinking issues another day. Super simply though, you actually are a massive platform, right? Which is super innovative, and I think it's one which personally I could have done with when I was 14, 15, playing FIFA and having no way of actually competitively wagering stuff. Could you just, for the people who are not aware of how your company works, give us a bit of a summary on what you guys do? Yeah,
really simply, like what we do is like if you want to actually let's take a little bit like get the concept right first. So we don't believe like gambling. I don't like gambling. I think gambling's stupid. I think you shouldn't put money on an outcome you can't control. I think it's a bad mindset. I think you should back yourself in everything. But I'm not a moron, and I understand that there is something about playing with money which makes stuff more exciting. Like if the three of us had a race, okay, all right. Now I'd win because I'm incredibly fast. Yeah, but the point is, if we just ran just for like just for for shits and giggles, like we'd go hard. But if I put like 100 quid on the line, we're gonna fucking really go our hardest, right? It's just more exciting when there's something else on the line. And so we don't call ourselves a gaming business or a gambling business. We call ourselves an entertainment business, because what we do is we take something you're already enjoying and make it a little bit more entertaining. And that's what we do, because the fact is that if you put something on the line, it is a bit more entertaining. And so what we decided was, and the way this came about is true story. The idea came to me whilst I was on the jiu-jitsu mat wrestling with a Russian man. This is a true story.
As all great ideas do.
That's all great stories. It's not an exaggeration, and it hasn't been made up, to be a glamorous founder story. But it genuinely is what happened. And we'll save that for another day. But the point is, what we did was we wanted to try and find a way that if you're playing FIFA, how can you play your mates but play for money, but safely know they're going to pay up? At the same time, how can you play other people at the same level? So that's what we do. So we do that for 1v1 on FIFA, Call of Duty, Rocket League, and a few other games.
Nice.
And it's been a pretty cool journey, because we started our company. Well, the idea came to me on the mat 3 years ago and 4 days.
Nice.
And we're now the biggest in the world for console. So that's gone pretty well for us. We have over 120,000 monthly active users, and it's pretty cool. But we've now launched a mobile version of the product, which is even cooler.
Yeah.
So that's like where you can play games like Candy Crush, where you win a high score, you chuck in the high score, whoever gets the highest score wins the pot. Boom, simple as that.
Nice.
And we've got people who are doing the average is about 30 entrances a month. People go mad for it. Yeah. Like, give me that high score. But it's great. So you can make a little bit of money on your bus ride into work. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I'm assuming that you were winning this jiu-jitsu fight at the time because you were thinking, hang on, I should be earning for this.
Let me tell you exactly what happened, HMT. Let me tell you what happened. So I'm in that. Bear in mind, so I have a bit of a martial arts background, but I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy. Okay, I'm not. And
me either.
Okay, so I'm on the mat in the gym, and this Russian guy walks over. I'm not a big guy. I'm like 75 kilograms, 5'11", And this Russian guy comes over and he's got his vest on, his arms out, and he's hench. He goes, I recognize you. You're a win competition. And I was like, I fucking did, yeah. And then everyone around me like, don't do that. Tom's a dick. And then he follows up with, but you look so weak. I was like, okay, all right, buddy. And then I was like, there's no need for that. And he says, how about to whisper sometime? I was like, what is happening here? Now, just as a I have some Russian friends, and apparently this is...
Well, I can tell you've been working on that accent.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. But it's perfectly acceptable behavior in Russia. Obviously, that's what they're doing to Ukraine. You join NATO, you fight me. Whereas, like, here, like, it was a bit surprising. Anyway, and I was like, all right, man, let's fucking do it. The worst I can do is tap out. It's not like I'm going to die. And he's like, well, how about we do this for money? Yeah, he's got a little bit Italian here.
It was a wager. Yeah, a bit Italian.
He has a very complex ancestry, this guy, it turns out. Anyway, so he's like, I was like, all right, let's do it. So anyway, for any of you who know anything about jiu-jitsu, have you guys done any? You know anything before?
Not yet, no. maybe in a bit.
You should do it.
Not today.
You should do it. Anyway, well, basically, the fact is, like, it's a sport. Like, it is a skill, and if you don't know what you're doing, you get tapped out. Like, that's it, right? And he didn't know what he was doing, and you know, he's much bigger than me, so I just pull guard, get him something called a triangle, which is where you choke him out with your legs, and he taps out, and he goes, you cheat, you'll use your legs. And I'm like, no, buddy, that's how the game works. And then he storms off, and I'm like, whoa, motherfucker, where the fuck's my money? And he goes, I pay you next time. I was like, no, you fucking won't, you'll pay me right now, motherfucker. And then, casually racially profiling. I didn't want to give him my bank details. I never met this guy. And I was like, there must be an app for this. There's no app for it. And so I was like, and then I came up with the worst business idea of all time. Literally the worst business idea ever.
The best Genesis story for a business I think I've ever heard.
The original business idea was, hey guys, I'm going to make an app where I can wrestle people for money. That is the shittest business idea of all time. The market is so small. The number of people who do it.
You and the Russian guy. That's it.
Yeah, I'm making $10 a week. Yeah, exactly. It's the worst. So I was like, I'm out. This is not very good. It wasn't a very good idea. But then I was there and I was like, there's got to be a big market here. There must be lots. Where are there lots of transactions and lots of matches happening all the time? Gaming. Now, I don't have a gaming background. Okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So, like every good founder, I'm like, I know what I'll do. I'll just try and be as captivating and motivating as I can and get other people to come and work with me. Nice. So I was like, what can I do? So I looked through the old Rolodex, #LinkedIn. I'm like, I must have someone I'm connected to who can I come and talk to about this. And this girl called Monica used to work for me, and she worked in PR, and she worked at EA Sports. And I was like, she's got to know someone. She's got to know she's got to know some grade A nerd who can build this for me. Yeah. And I was like, so I literally got the photo, like, hey, Monica. And she's like, hey, Tom. And she does CrossFit. She's a dick. And she got it straight away. She was like, oh, my God, have you met my fiance? And I was like, no. She's like, well, he was the co-creator of Grand Theft Auto. I'm like,
yeah,
that's a big name.
Yeah.
That gets my dick hard. And I was like, so she's in New York. And I'm like, what? I'm looking at my phone, like, what's he doing tomorrow night at 6? And she goes, oh, like, do you want to Zoom? And I'm like, no. I'm going to get on a flight. I'm going to get on. I can be in New York tomorrow night for 6. So I literally hopped on a plane.
Nice.
Flew over to New York. I met with Gary. We fell in love straight away. Like, he's British, so he's incredibly intelligent, as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And but he's got that horrible, I've lived in New York for 20 years accent, where you're a bit like, this is horrible now. This is just a mess. And that's how we made Stakester, and now we're amazing. There you go. That's the story.
Awesome. Had you played GTA before you met him?
It's actually a little bit awkward. When I was growing up, my brother was one of the first ever pro gamers, right? And if you guys have got brothers, you know that whatever your brother does is lame. Okay? Doesn't matter if it's the coolest thing ever. He could be a freaking rock star, but it's lame because it's your brother. Okay? Because they're just, that's what it is. And my brother was a pro gamer. One of the first ever ones. Like, my brother worked for NASA. You can imagine the level of nerd
like
that I was surrounded by. So I was like,
gamer Tetris player.
Yes, I was like, hey, bro, dude, dude, mate, I do real sports.
It's got
like,
a high score on
shit you're doing.
Raid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just walks around talking in binary to his friends. 100211. There's no 2 in binary. I've ruined it. I've ruined the joke. I've ruined the whole gag.
Amazing.
So anyway,
GTA was one of my favourite games growing up to play with my brothers.
San Andreas,
the
mate.
originals.
I wanted to beat my brothers. Do you
remember the old one where you could have had like the stretch limo?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he used to blow up the tankers. That was cool, man.
I used to love running over all the Hare Krishnas.
Yeah, I know. Harder. Yeah, that's the one that Gary made.
Yeah, that's the one that I loved. That's the one that I spent so many hours of my childhood. Like my childhood, I was very young to be playing that game, but just such a good game. I think I can still remember the speech from the first mission in that game just because it was so classic.
Love that. Good memory. There you go. That's the genesis story of Stakester. And weirdly, actually, the good segue. That was that game is what made us come up with the idea for our NFTs. We kind of fell into the NFT piece because we had a natural utility in our product which people were asking for a use, which was like, I want to earn the right to compete at a higher level.
Okay.
All right. So I want to be able to play for like $50, $100, $1,000. And we're like, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to create these leagues, but you've got to play like 20 games to get into these leagues. But you've got different audiences. You've got some people who are a bit like, yeah, but mate, I just want to go straight in there. You got some Jordanian kid who's got like unbelievable amount of money, and he's just like, dude, I just want to play for $1,000. Also, I couldn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And then you got some guy in Romania who's like, I only want to play for $2 every time, but I want to earn the right to go up the ladder. So like, how do we do this? And so we started thinking about making passes, and then we were like, maybe it was right at the advent of NFTs. Bored Apes were starting to get massive, and we were like, what should we do? And then we're like, well, why don't we make an NFT for this? Why don't we make that pass an NFT, and you could either grind it or you could buy it. And then Gary comes up with this genius idea where he's a bit like, how do we make them unique? Because we don't want to make them unique with characters from games or whatever. And we're like, how did you move up levels back in the day? There was cheat codes, and all of us have that nostalgic thing where we remember the cheat codes. And Gary was like, because I made the cheat code.
That's classic.
For the game. And we're like, dude, that's really cool. And all of us, there's a real emotional response for us, because when you think about it, for me, it was like up, down, left, right, A start for level select on Sonic. So you remember all these things. That had a real nostalgic effect. It's like, so you can either earn your way up there or you can buy the cheat code to get yourself up there. And so we're like, how do we? And so it felt like a real natural progression. And then when we got to that top league, we're like, look, if you're in that top league and you got that top pass, the big thing about Stakester is, because we're not the house, that's why we're not like gambling. There's no house. The house doesn't win. The players win. We take a fee for the competition, but it's tiny. Yeah, we take a fee and we make money by scale. We don't make money from, by anyone. If you both put money in, you take the pot. So how do we maintain that culture? And we wanted to give the opportunity for people who own that top one to earn rewards for being in that top league as well. And so I think we're one of the only people who make NFTs where 50% of our royalties goes back to our audience.
Yeah, I liked that when I read that. That definitely piqued my interest when I was, among other things, not just a massive money grabber. But it was definitely something that stood out for me as something that people in the market would be very interested in.
Yeah, so we just I think it's just a cultural thing for us. We're as a business, we believe that you grow businesses by your customers loving you. I think it's people always say the secret sauce to growth is retention. You look at other things in the market, Bored Apes again. The reason they grow and they have so much revenue is because people fucking love them. People feel a real affinity to that product. Yeah. And we want people to feel affinity to our brand, and they do. That's why they stick around. That's why we've outperformed all of our competitors, and that's why we've become the biggest. It's because it's not about the money for us. That comes as a result of treating your people well.
Yeah. It's a big thing I've always wanted in the space, and again, it's not specifically the same, but the principle of it is, which is a emotional connection to what you're buying into. The biggest and most important thing is that you care emotionally about something over just financially. When you can get the blend of those two things really well and get it right, you create a super customer. They care about your brand, they want to be involved in your brand, they respect your brand, and they're making money. Super combo, can't go wrong. I guess the biggest thing for me though, juxtaposed to that is the huge amount of outcry and frustration that the gaming industry's had towards NFTs. How are you envisioning kind of what issues you might have with a huge gaming background and adding NFTs in?
I think ultimately, it comes down to, does it feel like this business is doing this to make money? Or does this business doing this so this business gives a genuine utility and a genuine reward to their customers? That's the question, isn't it? And so for us, like for day one, like we generate revenue through our business. I think if you look at a lot of NFT projects, a lot of them are people who are building an NFT to raise money in order to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the large majority of it. And so for us, it was really important that the only reason we would do this is, now look, I'm not going to pretend that you don't generate revenue from it. Of course we do. Okay, we get royalties on the same as anyone else, right? Okay, of course that happens. The primary reason that we're doing this is to provide a utility to our customers. It's something that we were building before, but we found a way that meant if we did it this way and with the technology that's available to us, it allows us to reward those customers and create some cool gamification. One other cool thing about our product is that it lends itself a bit more, it creates a secondary market, because if you fuse together 3 of the same NFT, you create a legendary NFT. You get a higher grade one. That's just the nature of the gaming business. Like you get rewarded for loyalty and you get rewarded for collecting things, and you get something for it. And that I think is a cool thing.
I think there's a definite synergy between what you guys operate and the blockchain itself. So one of the big things for me about blockchain is it's a trusted system. So you don't have to rely on a middleman to confirm something. And I think with your business where you're having say 2 people playing a game against each other, and then at the moment they'd have to sort of take a photo of the sort of score screen at the end and submit that to have it verified. I think I can see that down the line with you guys working with integrating better into blockchain, there'll be a point where you can take that information off chain, where gaming results are actually as they finish, they're put on chain, and you can use that as your verification process. So there's a definite synergy for me there. That
100%. Well. And I think there's a future for us is ultimately, where this lends to, and the reason that we're not giving people cash rewards for the royalties, because that becomes a securitization and that becomes a different thing entirely. we are creating a way that people can play with a token. Okay, so we're trying to, because at the moment, what the legalities of what we do mean that you can play in Europe, you can play in the US, you can play in Mexico and Brazil, but you can't play in South Korea. You can't play in France. You can't play in North Africa. And so how do we create a platform which allows everyone to play with everyone on a level playing field? You tokenize it, right? And so that's something we're really keen on, to try and make that. And also, again, it's that verification piece is about knowing full well that someone who is, at the moment, we have a direct exchange rate, which is predominantly used from USD. Okay, but the great thing about any tokenization is it becomes just a level playing field for everyone. Okay, because in some countries the strength of the dollar is an absolute motherfucker, and others it's not. Yes. Whereas if you tokenize something, it's what it is, right?
That's actually really a big thing. This is, again, a little bit off piece for the NFT side of it, but as a businessman who's dealt with a lot of foreign countries, I've worked internationally for all of my entire business career. That's a huge point that a lot of people don't focus on, which is that certain countries have an appalling US dollar conversion rate. Even in the UK, sometimes we struggle with it on like PayPal, for example, using PayPal. Pounds to dollars, not great. So it's really interesting that you highlight that, because I think it's something which is really underappreciated, which is that one universal token to do a job, if it does that job effectively, again, tokenification is really hard. If it does it well, it's actually really important. So I like the fact you guys are looking at that as well, because I think it gives a different element to it. And it's actually quite important the way you talk about it having a use case. And again, it is simple as this. You've already got your product. The product already works. It's proven to work. You're not asking for $2 million to then spend 6 years developing something like a lot of companies do in the NFT space. You're coming with a product that already works. It's worked very well and outranked your competition, and you know where you're going in the direction of it. So I guess one of the big things I'd look at asking you is, though, how different have you found the Web3 space and operating in it compared to the traditional business market?
Mate, fucking mad. You know what I mean? But it's a beautiful journey. Okay, so What have I found? Okay, so I get a bit philosophical here, but it's a nature here. So look, when something is new, okay, it creates a club, all right? And that club are the people who hold the power, and the people who hold the power don't always want someone else coming into it. Okay, and that's the reality of anything that's new, right? You know, it's like those people who first when Twitter came out and they've just got their own name. Yeah, it's like you just got Jack, you just got Jason, you just got
those guys, not those guys.
Those fucking guys. And then forever, I'm just like Tom 36974. I'm a dickhead. I'm fucking nothing. Do you know what I mean? You've got that gang. Yeah, same again with TikTok first comes out, and you've got all these people posting all these videos about how you become successful at TikTok, but it's like there's a real secret source behind it. That's the nature of anything when it first comes out, before it becomes ubiquitous and people will start to be able to understand it. Okay? And then there's always the stories of there's someone who, you've got some kid who has gone from, it's like, in my space, in the gaming space, you've got a story of a guy who's made $1 million playing Fortnite, right? Okay? And everyone's like, fuck, I want to be that guy. Yeah, he just plays Fortnite. Okay, and no one lets you into that club because you're not in it. Okay, and same again with NFTs. I found that at the very beginning. I found it very clandestine. I had all these stories about people who'd made millions and squillions of pounds. I went and I spoke to, I spoke to people in the industry, and I'm fortunate in that, like, I'm heavily embedded into the founder and VC community in the UK, and so I'm surrounded by Web3 people.
Nice.
But I go and speak to some of them because I don't have the vernacular, because I don't know the words, because I don't know the language the smart contract's written in. Yeah, you're like, well, you're a dick. The thing for me was, though, and that it's remarkable how quickly that is changing. So that was the case, like, before Christmas. I couldn't get a conversation with people. No one wanted to talk to me. No, like, I spoke to a couple of them. They're like, who the fuck are you? Yeah. I was like, guys, I want to do something down this path. I want to go and figure it out. And then you find a couple of people who are a bit like, Tom, I was in the same space as you like 2 weeks ago. I'll help you out. Okay? But really, there's like this gap. But then as people come in, they want to help you out. And then you get these amazing companies like our techies. Like, they're like, Tom, don't pay us a penny, mate. We think you're going to be successful. We'll pay you. You pay us when we built it and you sold out. Okay? Yeah. We'll take a cut at the end of it. You're like, these people are amazing. And you got people like
they just want 25%.
The guy who introduced this guy called Elliot, who's just amazing, just really like arms around it. Come, Tom, let me help you down this journey because I know that you can be a success at it. So it's really changed once you're in that space. But the one thing that I found really bizarre is there's a tiny bit of success bias, I think, with NFTs, which I don't think people talk about a lot. Mm-hmm. And so that is like, so you launch a Twitter. Yeah, for your specific NFT. We've been very lucky and we've gone to like 22,000 very quickly. Okay. We launch our Discord and we're up at like, 5,000. And you think to yourself, if anything else, that'd be amazing. But you go and talk to people and they're like, oh yeah, but this Discord's got like 16,000 people and it's really fucking popping. And so you're like, oh, so have I failed? Do you know what I mean? It's like this weird, like,
yeah. I think it's because it's reverse business, right? So if you think about traditional business and anything, right? Take out the rich boys who were given millions when they were born. If you're a traditional businessman and you work your way up in life, which is great, you have to do something to get your money. Somewhere down the line, you do something, you make something of yourself, and you have to have a track record, even if it's short, of doing something consistently well enough, getting a bit like whatever. In NFT space, you can make an account tomorrow. You can hire a 5 artist, and within 6 weeks, you've made millions of dollars. So the success bias is definitely there, but it's also, I think, just a greed. And I think that what people then do is they disproportion the fact that you've sat in rooms with guys like, your co-CEO founded one of the biggest, or his big part, one of the biggest gaming companies of all time. That's massive. But there would still be a percentage of people in our space who would not look at that because your Discord hasn't got 100,000 people in it, of which the majority will be bots. So, and that's one of the big frustrations I think I and a lot of other people who have come from traditional business have had, is that you look at it, it doesn't make sense. You'll see some people are incredibly talented at what they do, and they're not just good at it and they're not discovered. They're really, really successful in their market, but they get neglected or disused or discarded almost because they are not the right mold. So that is really interesting that you highlight that. And I wonder as well how Gary's found it from his background too. Similar to yourself, or is he not as involved in that side of it?
So really interesting. So Gary wrote a white paper He essentially built the tech behind what we're doing, and led that. And he took it on the same way as I did. So my background isn't in gaming, as I told you before, and I truly believe that if you are from outside of a sector, you can bring in something that other people can't. Okay, because the problem with being in a sector is you do it always the same way. Okay, as you've always done it, and so coming in from another is helpful. But of course, there are things you don't understand, so you might be a bit slower on some things. Like there's plus and minuses, but both him and I have an attitude which is like, I'm just going to go and meet the best people in the world of this. Just going like, so I'm lucky, and I've met with the guys at Artifact and Axie Infinity, some really like Hollywood names.
Yeah, nice.
I'll say something interesting though. Yep, same fucking shit, top to bottom. Yeah. There is, I love it. What I love about it is like there is a formula which you need to follow. There's a formula you follow, but whether or not it goes massive or doesn't, mate, it's a fucking flick in the air. Yeah. It could happen. And it's mad, but I love that. Because that's like, I'm into fight sports, and the fact is you chuck two guys in the ring together and they're both fit and they both know how to bang.
Yeah.
How's it going to go? Do you know what I mean? And that's what I love about NFTs. I'm like, you can do all the training in the world. You can have all the technology. You can have all the theory, all the utility, all the marketing, all the budget. It isn't a guarantee it's going to work out. And you could have none of the theory, none of the budget, none of it. And it could be amazing. Yeah. And the great thing about looking at it is you look, and it's I love it. It's so obsessive because you go onto OpenSea and my avatars are Woody. Okay. And the reason for that is that they're partners with some of our devs. So I look at it and I'm like, mate, I know it sounds fucking weird, but I just fucking love trees. I fucking love it.
Love a good tree.
Love it. I fucking love it, mate. I basically grew up in a wood. No, I fucking love it. So I'm like, I've got a real affinity to this. I fucking love it. And then I'm looking at some other stuff and I'm like, why the fuck would I buy this weird, like, metaverse landscape? Why would I do this? I don't have that emotional connection to it. Do you know what I mean? But at the same time, like, this is trading at like 50 ETH, and I'm buying mine at like a couple. And I love it. I love that about this universe. Sorry, I know I got a little passionate there, but I think it's.
I love trees.
I fucking love them, mate. I love them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
There you go.
I think that's one of the big things it always comes back to for me, which is I love the idea of emotional connection. So I'm going to say this. I was a collectibles dealer for years, and that's where I made all my money. So the whole basis of the business is on making sure you find people who care about something, right? Be it Star Wars or Marvel, whatever. So it's always nice when you get someone who speaks the same language as that, where, you want to make money, sure, that's cool, but actually finding something you emotionally connect with is what it's all about. I think that's the true special, the niche, if you can make money and love what you make money on. That's what I've always enjoyed. So
that's the answer. Well, that's the answer to everything, Harry. That's the answer to everything, right? You find something that you like. That's the thing. Like, everyone knows that the secret to success, basically, for everything is just working hard and just keeping going and keep practicing and trying to improve. But it's so much easier to work you speak to 1,000 people who have been really successful. You speak to The Rock. You speak to Barack Obama. You speak to Matt Letizia. You speak to fucking loads of people who've been really successful, and you say to them, "What is the secret to being successful?" And they all say the same fucking thing: just fucking work hard.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, no one can work hard unless they love what they're doing. You can't do it. It just sucks. It just sucks. And so if you find something you're passionate about, and all three of us here are, and that's why we're on this show, you get passionate about this stuff, and you're like, fucking, you see the future, you see the power in it. You're going to be successful. Yeah. I made the transition it was December 2019, where I became entirely crypto for my life.
Nice. That's cool.
Every single penny I earn, which is not much because I'm a founder, every single penny goes straight into crypto, straight away. Nice. And I'm not an expert in crypto. I would call I'm a trader. Like, I just understand the basic concept of buying red and selling green. Like, it's not the underlying technology isn't something I understand, but like I think it's you just have that feeling, don't you? You just know, and you're like, and you make that move and you never turn back.
How long after that did you get into NFTs? If you got into crypto like 2019, when did NFTs first pop up for you? So
it was an interesting journey for me because do you understand? Are you familiar with the guy on the hype cycle?
Yeah, I think so. It's
basically a curve that goes up and then dips very quickly and then goes and then comes up again and goes down again. Okay, and that basically is the speed in which people get very excited about something, and then they become disillusioned with it, and then it becomes commonplace, and then it plateaus.
Yeah.
Okay, I am a classic. Move too slow, come to it just after the peak.
Yeah.
That's who I am, because I'm like, yeah, do you know when Bitcoin first came out, and I was like, yeah, fuck off, mate, this ain't gonna happen. This is for, what was Colby Covington from UFC say? Nerds and virgins. Do you know what I mean? That's what you're like, this is awful. And then you look at it and you're like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
This is amazing. And then that's when I join at that point. And then when it's just a little bit too late. And NFTs, like, the first came out, and I was like, "Fuck off! This is a joke." And then I thought I had this epiphany where I was a bit like, "Wait a minute, this is a very natural progression for society." Because like, even like I'm a bit of a history geek, and back in the day when people used to make swords, okay, the smith would be like, "This is my mark of authenticity." Okay, and it started off, and everyone would be like, "Well, I can copy your mark because all you've done is this little fucking stamp." Okay, and so they started putting in certain like plants and stuff to like add a layer of authenticity. So it'd be like, "Oh, here's my," but it's also been etched in with a certain plant from this area, so you don't know it's anyone else's. And then they'd like you put it into hilts and stuff, like just additional levels of authenticity. And then we added signatures, and then we added holograms, and then we added QR codes. And then you were like, wait, how do we 10x this? Like, how do we make this so that all these people who aren't getting paid properly for this artwork and also prove that no one can forge this? How do we this is just a natural progression. And I was like, yeah, do you know what? I need to get involved in this.
Yeah, nice. Fully down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's like, it's not, I said, we talked about NFTs, like, it's nothing new. It's not new.
Yeah.
Web3 is not it is a new technology, but it is just a progression of things that we were doing before. Mm-hmm. And I think people get too hung up on thinking like, oh, this is the future. This is the future, but this isn't a leap. Okay, this is a natural progression for the things that we do.
I think the way you actually explained your business as well earlier in the episode was actually quite a prudent example of that, really, in that, well, it just kind of naturally integrates with what you do, right? It's kind of logical that if you can, first and foremost, speed up the time for payout because the result is on the blockchain, makes sense. And if you could also logically offer someone the way of showing that, again, because a lot of people use a username, they use a pseudonym, whatever, but they can show that they are that pseudonym via owning a certain entity, and they can get the legitimacy that way. Kind of makes a lot of sense. It genuinely makes a lot more sense than someone who's never run a business before turning around and asking for $2 million 6 weeks after they launch a project. And that's, I think, why people see it a lot more as a newer riche business, because the majority of it is that let's quickly make a couple of $1 million, and if it goes to zero, we don't care because we made our money. Whereas you guys are coming in with a product that works. That's the difference. And that's why people see it as a bigger, crazier thing than it really is.
That's happened that throughout the entirety of history, mate. Like, people have just, just come up with some new technology. Like, it's just been like, there's people making millions or pounds back in the day, but the equivalent. There's always a story of someone doing that. Like double glazing people.
I wish I was in the 80s. That'd be great as a double glazing salesman. I think I'd have mocked it.
Mate, you'd smash. You'd rock up there with your non-alcoholic Corona. You'd be like, all right, geezer. All right, dear. Turns out that you've got a little bit of heat leakage here.
Yeah, we're going to have to redo the whole gaff.
Yeah, here we go, gaff all the way. You there out there in the outskirts of Cambridge, just fleecing old women.
Do your driveway.
Yeah. Oh God. Have you invested in any Web3 brands then? Because I think it was the Ask Me Anything you guys did. You all did one individually on the Stakester website, and you mentioned that you invested heavily in a lot of other game websites and startups, things like that. Have you put any money into startups and Web3 yet, or is there something?
I've got to be really careful here because if we had this conversation in 4 days, yes, the answer would be I have heavily invested in a Web3 business, but I haven't signed the check yet. So yes is the answer. Okay, and what I am investing in, I'll tell you what I'm investing in, not who specifically.
It's a Web3 NFT podcast where all
fully
animated.
Fully animated, which I'm a sponsor of. No, my big thing is so first of all, like as an investor, and I am I don't want to admit that fucking. I was about to say prolific. What a twat. No, I'm not. I write like 2 checks a month, and they're massive for some people, but in the scheme of things, they're not particularly big. Okay, I'm 100% founder led, 100% first and foremost. Like I believe that if you are a good person, like you two guys, like I reckon whatever you had a go at, you'd make a success of, right? You know, founder led first of all, because it doesn't matter about markets and problems and things like that. If you are a great team with great perseverance and great resilience, you'll make it a success. Okay, and so I'm backing that person. And I almost exclusively invest in female founders, almost exclusively because it's fucking hard for them to raise money. So I don't want to be that guy who's just perpetuating it by giving it to another privileged white boy like me. I want to try and be like, I am the problem. I'm literally the poster boy for the cliche. So I try to, to not perpetuate that.
Nice.
And so but the second thing is a sector that I really care about. It's about making something, because the experience I went through this was fucking hard to do. Okay, this was hard to try and build an NFT. Okay, I didn't have the people in house, and I got the list of people who were trying to fleece me because we're an established business. People would be like, yeah, but I'll do smart contract for you. That'll be a squillion pounds.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm an influencer agency. Let me introduce you to these completely bollocks influencers and by the way, my fees are 80% or something like that. Do you know what I mean? It's an absolute fucking joke, right? And I came across a business recently who were like, I basically want to make like a low code, no code version of people to create their own NFTs, and their own, and also make their own tokens for their products. I don't want there to be a gatekeeper who is the smart contract writer. I don't want there to be just OpenSea and LooksRare, just like they're the only people where I can list it and get any real success. OpenSea obviously owns so much of the market. Like LooksRare is pretty cool, but it's like, and I get my 167% fictional APR, like with my looks token. But like, it's like, I don't, these are cool things, but like, I want the creators to be the people who are making the money. I want the creators who are coming up with the ideas, who are trying to build these things. I want them to be able to do it themselves. I don't want them to be handcuffed by technology. And that's what happens, that's how you progress as a society. That's how you create new things. And so when people come to me and they're like, I'm making this fucking easy for everyone, Tom, so even an absolute moron like you could do this, I'm like, take my money. Yeah,
I do think simplicity is massive. It's one of the big put-offs for a lot of people just about crypto. Forget about NFTs, just crypto specifically, is that now I'm confident I can walk down the street and say, have you heard of cryptocurrency? Someone would say Bitcoin, or probably that being the level they get to. To actually understand it is, like any part of technology, often quite overwhelming if you're not tech native. And so as an extension of that, if you really break it down to the simplicity of someone just spent $400,000 on a picture of an ape, there's obviously a lot more to that, and we know that. But on the face value, that is fucking mental. And I can completely understand why people look at that and go, I don't want to have anything to do with that. I get it. And I think that you're 100% right. One of the biggest things that's lacking, and this is my favorite analogy, is the toilet paper analogy, right? The bottom line is everyone needs toilet paper and everyone needs education. You're always going to need it. It's the safest business because someone's always going to need to learn something. And that's where people are massively lacking in this space, because there's a lot of videos and content that will tailor and tutor the people who already know something. There's not enough for people who know very little or nothing. And that's going to be a far greater share of the world's market than the people who already know about NFTs. So I'm very interested to see where you've invested. And we'll see. We'll see in 4 days' time if you sign the check.
Yeah.
If let us know. If I sign the check, yeah.
Hang on, are you doing it via crypto, though? You said you were like 100% crypto now, and then you said you're signing all these checks.
Weirdly, this is actually how it works for me. I commit all of my crypto profits to investing in startups every month.
Nice.
That's the check. So some months it's not very much. Some some months it's good. So yeah, so anyone who knows me in the space can vouch for that literally all my crypto profits go towards other startups. Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. This is a good day today to ask for investments, isn't it? The market's green, everything's looking good. So if someone should be calling you and pitching you right now.
This will make you laugh, right? So I've got I invested in a climate fund. Okay, just basically so I could tell people I invested in the climate fund. Because then it makes me sound like I'm really cool. Chicks dig it. I was like, the guy, Pete, who runs it, super, super impressive guy, really cool. And I was like, look, mate, I'll write you a check, but you need to choose the day very carefully that you ask me. He's like, and he messaged me and it's like, Tom, ETH's up 17% today.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. It's like literally just got like treble the money that he was gonna get before. But yeah, no, it's good.
Nice. It's a smart move. I like that.
It's smart. Yeah. But so yeah, no, it's good. So in terms of and investing in individual ones, I'm kind of getting into the world, okay, and I mean that like I'm trying to get into it. Like I have an attitude towards investment, which I'm happy to share with anyone about crypto, and I call it the 70-20-10 rule. Okay, and that is 70% of your money in an apex predator. Okay, and an apex predator for me is Ethereum or Bitcoin. Okay, choose your apex. Okay, 20% in something that I would call a beta. So that would be something like a Solana or an Algo or a Polygon. It's something that says, and then 10% in shitcoins, because it might work out. Yeah. So like I made crazy money on
FOMO bag.
Yeah. Like I made money on Doge. I made money on UMA. I made money on these stupid things. The same thing with NFTs. Like I would like to have an apex predator. So I would like to get myself, a Bored Ape. Yeah, and I probably will. Yeah, so I want to get myself something which is an apex because that's going to be fairly stable, and it's going to stay fairly big, and you might get some big returns on it. And then get myself something a bit like a kitten, get myself something in that 20%, and then just spread the rest of your money on some tiny stuff. Now, of course, I'm talking from I realize this is quite big money, but generally speaking, that's just my attitude. So with NFTs, I'm starting to try and build out a portfolio, and I'm starting with my smaller ones just to try and dabble. And then see how we go. And the great thing about it is if you have that model 7-20-10, those ones you've got no idea about, you're not gonna. And once you make money on those, move that into your beta portfolio.
Yeah.
And then when you make money in your beta portfolio, move it into your alpha portfolio. That's my investment thesis.
Nice, I like that. So do you do a lot of trading with NFTs then?
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I genuinely
right now.
Well, the thing about it is I just because it's fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like that's the cost of the gas is real. Like it's a real thing. The thing I find interesting about the trading thing is like the difference between crypto is I'm people have a go at me for it, but like I love Coinbase Pro. It's just so easy to use, and like it's basically like and you can do your stop losses and so forth, right? And everyone's listening to this. That just basically means that when you get to a point where it's made too much of a loss, it just automatically sells it for you. Okay, so you limit your losses. Mm-hmm. Now, trying to buy NFTs and trade them, the first time you do it, like, it's fucking complicated. Do you mean like trying to connect OpenSea to your Coinbase wallet?
That's never been a good experience.
It's like it's like you can click on it 400 times and nothing happens. Also the frequency in which it changes isn't quite as exciting. And also, there's no guarantee that someone's going to buy it from you as well.
Yeah.
Whereas that's the other thing, because it's not exchange. So yeah, it's not liquid really. Someone has to be interested in your product, and that's a very different experience. It's much more eBay than it is stock exchange, and so you have to try and figure that in. So it doesn't work in the same way as the crypto. You're like, I want to cash out, I want to go and buy a car, or I want to pay bills. That's fine. I can do that in a heartbeat. Yeah, but I can't do that with NFT.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, just something for the listeners to be aware of.
No, I had the same experience. So I've got background in crypto since 2017. But I only came to NFTs last year because, as like yourself, I was a massive skeptic, and eventually had that kind of click moment and thought, "Hang on, this is exactly what I did with Bitcoin in 2014. What the hell am I doing? Jump in, have a look," and then realized all the things that I loved about blockchain, about the permissionless environments, about contracts on the blockchain, about proof of ownership, and all the things that I was really looking forward to crypto doing were actually already being done with NFTs. It was there, and I was just not, because if you read the mainstream media, it's just completely misses the point. And then it's all about, oh my God, someone spent £2 million on this JPEG, when in fact they should be looking at the underlying tech and the reason behind that and how everything works. So I've got a very similar mindset to yourself. But I think we're going to see, especially this year, and there's a lot of them coming out, where there are a lot more services that are going to make it, because there's so many traders in the market, there's a lot of services coming out that are going to make it a bit more like trading crypto. There's services coming out which means you can get like instant sales on some of the higher level NFTs, like more of your sort of blue chips and registered ones like that. But it's going to be an interesting experience. You can actually see the price action in your candles rather than just having to go on OpenSea and click the activity tab. So it's going to be interesting to see how that kind of evolves and matures the market as well.
I love that, but that's what happened with crypto. Like, it started off being a pain in the fucking arse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it really did, and now it's to me, I find it easier than using a bank.
Yeah. Oh, a million times.
Oh, definitely, yeah, for sure.
It's sometimes flabbergasting. Like you try and do something simple on a bank, and it's just like, why am I having to go through all these stages to do something where I could just click one thing on my MetaMask wallet and it's done?
I literally had that conversation.
I verified my ID on Coinbase today in like on the train journey in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You try to do it with a bank, and it took me a fucking week. Yeah.
That was literally the conversation. When I was in Milan yesterday, I had this conversation with an investment manager that I met out there. And she was saying that for her clients, the level of KYC she has to go through to do anything is ridiculous. Like stupid levels of consistent, repetitive questioning, which if you are worth millions of dollars, you don't want to be doing that. So with crypto, the biggest thing is that the onus is on you to manage your own money. You truly do have the ability to do what you want. Like my Bored Ape story is painful. Essentially, my bank said, no, we're not going to let you put that money, your own money, 160K, I think it was at the time. I'm not able to put that into crypto. At the time, they refused to let me do it. Whereas if my money was already in crypto, I can do what I want. So there's a lot of power in decentralization at its very base level. That is
I'm
so much better.
Much happy with the algorithm and the smart contracts governing how my money goes from one place to another. Right, like I have much more faith in maths than I do in human beings.
Mate, I bet I'm so with you. I think the story you say about the bank is such a classic. I tried to, because I'm 100% crypto, and I've taken money out because I wanted to, my salary goes in, or if I do some consultancy or get paid for like a shitty stand-up gig or something, I go and do that, and then I go and I put it in get cash, and I go and put it into crypto. And I bank with NatWest and I heavy lifting, you fucking pricks. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry mate, we won't let you put any money in there anymore. Why? Because I'm making more money than this than your fucking 6% return on your shitty ISAs. And they're like, we've seen a lot of people get fuck off.
It's a massive issue.
My own money. I can. Monzo, however, fill your boots, mate. Take it all out.
It does. It's caused me so many issues because of what I do as well, which is, I essentially sell cardboard boxes of plastic figures in for hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it is a weird thing to have to explain. Like even if I can black and white show you that someone's happy with it, it's a weird conversation. So I sell toys for tens of thousands of dollars. So I've always had huge issue with bank transactions to the point that last January they took like $30,000 out of my bank. They just said, we don't know where this come from, we're taking it. Whereas now that when I get paid in crypto, it's fine. It's not a problem. I can hold it in a stable coin. I can put it in, ETH if I want to, just leave it there. I don't have the same stresses. The bank scares me because they just go like that. And the onus is on me to prove every step where my money's come from. And I can't a lot of the time to the level they want because they make their own rules. Whereas with crypto, the whole point is that no one can do that. That's not the way it works, which is why we like it.
Woo, crypto.
Power to the people. Fuck the banks.
One question I had about Stakester, we kind of moved quite a long way from where this question would probably have been better suited. But how have you found I'm assuming that you speak to a lot of gaming companies and studios out there about maybe even sort of integrating some way of your app or bringing people on as partnerships and sort of cross marketing, things like that. What's the general response you get for them with your kind of business model and how you're trying to do things?
Yeah, interesting. So it depends is the answer to that. So we have two sides of our business. We have the arenas, which is the 1v1, and we have arcade, which is 1v many on a mobile device.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so just understanding the nuance. If you're a mobile games developer, okay, you have basically 3 ways to make money, and they are shit. Okay, adverts, no one likes fucking adverts. Loot boxes, you might as well just decide that you're just gonna, in-app purchases, you might as well just lose all of your audience and realize that you're stealing from children. Okay, and the other one is people have to pay to get your app. Okay, these are not good ways to make money because no one wants to pay to buy your app because other games do it for free. The pay to upgrade and stuff, like it's okay, but people feel like it's a little bit immoral. Okay, for some reason we have this culture whereby we feel like the game should be free, and then adverts are annoying and they suck. Okay, so like those things are really fucking annoying. Okay, and they're not perfect. So we give someone an entirely voluntary way to generate revenue, and we're giving people a higher return on those customers that do it than they're getting on their other paid customers. So it's just like, for them, it's a no fucking brainer. This problem is obviously because it means we have no legal boundaries because we're not regulated over whether or not we can do it to people who are 18 or under. But we only do it for people who are 18 or older because we have a moral obligation.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. We don't want to do that. Okay. So that's annoying because some people they have to segment their audiences, and that can be annoying. Okay. Also, we only work with games that are skill-based. We don't work with chance-based games because then it becomes gambling, right? So it's not what it is. But if we find those businesses, like, they love it. Of course they do. It's great, right? You know, it's another revenue stream which generates more revenue than they were before, and it means their customers stick around for longer because they're getting a bigger dopamine hit.
Yeah.
High fives all around. Nice. All right? Now, if you are like a AAA console title on the arenas, that's complicated, okay? Because you're making a fuck ton of money already through sales of your game on a console because you're charging $60 a time or you're on Game Pass or whatever. So it's less of a thing for them. And I think for the big AAAs like that, they are still trying to figure out what they want to do about. Like we kind of sit in the esports world. They're like, what do we actually want to do here? Okay. Secret. But one of them tried to buy us. Yeah, really early doors. And I was like, no way, bro. I want to be miserable for 3 years, constantly just like, killing myself trying to make this work. You know, not having any sleep or any freedom. No, nice. But because we started growing very quickly and they're like, shit, these guys are making some coin from this. Yeah, it's not the money, it's the stickiness. That's what people care about. Like the fact is, if you do something and it adds a bit more and you get a bigger dopamine hit, you're going to keep doing it. Yeah. People stick around for longer. Like we have like a 47% 8-week retention, which is fucking mental for our space. Okay. So like, so you just gotta, so they're trying to make their money up. But certainly on the mobile game stuff, like we, it sounds like a bit of a podcast brag, but like my biggest problem is that I have more work than I can do. Which is like, because more people, because as soon as they realize they want to do it, like, dude, I can't keep up with this. There you go.
Yeah, no, that's a problem that we that we know very well. I think since I left my job in sort of the normie world, the muggle world, as I like to call it, and moved into Web3, it's literally just been like 100-hour weeks and literally just having to turn down these opportunities that normally I'd be biting people's, like 8 months ago, I'd be biting people's arms off for. So
that's what it's been, a founder, right? That's the game.
Love it. So we've got these questions that we often ask, we normally ask all our guests at the end of our recording. So I'm going to fire, they're sort of quick fire questions about your kind of NFT experience.
Do I get a score?
Yeah. Do you want to get it up on Stakester?
Mate, I'm fucking competitive. Okay, all right. I want to know that I'm beating all these other dickheads that come on the show.
All right. Well, let's see. So, what's your worst ever trade?
What's my worst? What's my worst ever trade?
NFTs.
I'll tell you my worst ever trade. It's actually even worse. What happened? Okay. I used the I used the wrong wallet.
Right.
Okay. I sent money to the wrong wallet, and I gave it to someone else. And then that person who I gave the wallet to had my string pass to change the passwords to that wallet. Had the code because we set it up together. And so it wasn't a bad trade. It's just I gave it to someone else who I'm not friends with anymore.
What, are you not friends with because they just like, oh, thanks for all the
No.
cash,
So my worst trade was because of stupidity. Yeah. And that was for a kitten. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. But I was literally waxing lyrical about that in the car earlier with my mate. Yeah.
All right, let's flip it. Best ever.
Fuck you, Claire. Okay.
Best ever trade.
I'm getting really into Woodies, and I think they're going to be amazing.
Yeah. Okay. Nice.
They're
Nice.
genuinely-
And you're on the episode as you Woody.
Yeah. I'm absolutely convinced he's going to be fucking awesome.
And I think
You love
we're back
trees.
we're back to
I
back
fucking love
Woodies.
trees.
We're back to back Woodies actually because we've got you on this episode, and then I think coming the episode straight after is going to be the one that we recorded with Nemus, and Bianca's on as her Woody on that one as well. So
Yeah, I'm really into
double
them. I think they're going to be fucking great. I really bait. And also, every single Stakester NFT is probably the best trade anyone could ever do.
Oh, of course. Do you do a lot of minting? What's your rarest reveal ever been?
I haven't done any minting and given my rarest reveal. Although that's not true actually. I did some minting on the Doctor Who NFT.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because the guy who runs the show there is a friend of mine, the guy at True Gaming Network, and I don't even know what I got, but I think I got like a Dalek.
Nice.
And I remember being really fucking pumped because it had a shiny edge on it.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it had like a shiny edge on it, and I was like, "This is fucking amazing."
Shiny
I'm not the kind of guy who does a random mint. That's not my vibe.
Yeah. Okay, cool. If you could send one project to 100 ETH floor price, I think I know what the answer is going to be. Apart from
Not
Stakesters.
Stakesters.
If I could send a project to
Any
someone,
project to 100 ETH floor.
oh fucking hell.
I thought you'd dive in on Woodies on this one.
Yeah, but I'm fully loaded on Woodies, mate. But I don't want to be that guy who's like, yeah, the woods give me wood. I don't want to be that guy.
Is their Discord's surely just full of people saying that?
Yeah. I think I would do that. I'm quite into Looks Rare. Not Looks Rare, sorry. So Rare, the football trading cards.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm quite into that. And so I know these guys, and I quite like them. They've got quite a cool project. They're backed by Rio Ferdinand.
Oh, yeah, nice. Big Rio.
Do you know those guys?
I don't. I don't know the project.
No, Rio.
Rio and I don't see eye to eye. But I do know of the project because it's quite a well-known... It's what we need, which is global football that I can access on cards quite easily. So I know a few guys who love it. Yeah,
I do like it. And I think that's quite cool. And I would like that to be bigger. I would like more people to be involved with that because I think it's cool. Because I'm a big fan of the trading card model. It's a bit more nostalgic for me because it's a bit less meta and a bit more IRL. And so I quite like that. And I like that bridge between the two. And so I'd quite like that to be a bit better.
Nice. And then the opposite question: if you had to delete one project,
oh mate, that sounds awesome. I just wish board apes would fuck off. I'm just so. I know it's fucking clever, but I'm just so fucking bored of hearing about this fucking shit all the time. And it's like everyone is fucking constantly telling me that I'm trying to get one. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's fucking talking to me about board ape, mutant ape, fucking I don't know, ragamuffin ape, whatever the next one is. It's fucking driving me mad. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, they're really good. Yeah, great. They've done really well, guys. Really great. Also, I'm so jealous of fucking Artifact because we've got the same backers as Artifact. And they started roughly about the same time as we did. And then Benoit's now just sunning himself on the beach, just surrounded by strippers and champagne. And then there's me just slogging away trying to get to do my first project. Yeah, no, I don't do that. He's a lovely guy. But I wish board apes would fuck off. I know that's probably sacrilege to a lot of people.
It would stop a lot of smug. Like there's a big smug cloud over.
Mate, they're like the late '90s version of Manchester United, but in the.
Oh god.
Do you know what I mean? They're like every time Man United fucking touches the ball, like in the late '90s, like, oh yeah, they're going to score and win another title. It's just fuck off. Okay, fine. You've got you've got all the money in the world and the best team, and everyone fucking loves you.
Every
Great.
strike. They just signed every striker. In the
yeah.
Well, that's right. You're fine. Andy Cole. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We'll just put them together. Oh, it turns out they are exponentially better together. Great. Yeah. You're just like, just fuck off. Just fuck off. Just let everyone else just have a little bit of a day in the sun. I think for NFTs, I think you should get to a level and say, all right, I've completed it. I'm out.
Everyone give your apes back.
Yeah. It should be like, I don't know, like, 200 ETH or something. I don't know what it is. So you get there, you got anything that sells 200 ETH, yeah, any single NFT, it's gone. That's the max. OpenSea just says, we're out now. Yep.
People normally hesitate to answer that question. You were just like, do you know what? Roll my sleeves up. I'm taking out board game.
It's fucking annoying. I'm sure they're lovely guys. I'm sure they're lovely guys. And also, like, I want to go to one of the parties as well. I want to go to the party.
I don't know. I've seen a few videos of everyone just standing around looking at their phones.
Mate, I'm going to be honest though. If you can afford to buy one, you're not the person I'm going to hang out with at a party. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things. You're like, yeah, if you've over-indexed on this, yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah.
I guess it's a weird one though, isn't it? Like, it's the classic story is, and we'll kind of round off in a second, but like you said, there are guys who have genuinely gone from being like bus boys, I don't know if that's even a job anymore, a milkmen, I don't know. And then
milkman, that was your next go-to. After
bus
boys, that might not be a job anymore.
And then all of a sudden, from being a bus boy and a milkman, they're now worth fucking $10 million because they bought X amount of that's amazing. Like,
I love it.
They're living in the past.
That's mental.
High five them. We all know we all know what happens to those people. Like, or lottery winners, they just get addicted to crack and whores, and then they just like
what a way to go.
Hookers and blow.
Yeah, exactly. And then they basically a bit like, surely I can have this Midas touch again. Yeah, and they're like, let me just blow it all on, or I've got no money.
Yeah, that's why they need to buy Stakesters, and then they'll be safe if they just invest all of their funds.
Established business. I mean, like it's got real utility. It's like it's a real thing. There you go. That's why it's my mini pitch.
Nice, awesome,
good. It's been an absolute pleasure. Normally we kind of round off on like sell the project in 1 minute or less, but I feel like you've just done that for us. So
I'll sell the project in one minute or less. Okay.
Go on then.
I think what the real differentiator between us and I think every single other project is that you as the owner win as much as we do. You have a genuine opportunity to create a secondary market where you can you get three of them together, and then you get the legendary. You have that opportunity. Okay, and it gives you genuine utility in the app. And because we are established business, that's always overpromised or always over-delivered on our promises. Everything you see that we say we're going to give you, you're going to get. This isn't something where we're a bit like, yeah, we're going to have a party at some time. Yeah, and then we're going to release, a different color hair on our product. That's not what's going to happen. Everything we say we're going to deliver on, we're going to do. That's why we are the fastest growing business of our kind in the world. Because we deliver on our promises. That's it. Become part of the ride.
It's been an absolute pleasure, honestly, Tom. It's always nice to chat to someone who hasn't just minted a Bored Ape and they become a millionaire. So thank you very much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. I've been Couch Host and been joined by Jimmy T and Tom as well from Stakester. Toodaloo, chaps. We'll see you soon.